Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 1st. Let's get going. Well, back to no one being available. Actually, there is one person available, and in my ever-valiant attempt to annoy Phony, I decide to hang out with Makoto. While walking around the school, Nijima-senpai tells me the obvious. She sucks at talking to people. With how hyper-focused she is on school, she never really got to do stuff like go and hang out with people, and she asked me if I can help her learn what it's like to be a regular, not stuck-up person. I figure, what the hey, she's cute and reminds me of some girls I know in real life. Let's get it. First rule of Fun Club. You've got to be a gamer. So I take Makoto to the arcade on Central Street, where she reveals that some people are just naturally gifted. She thanks me for showing her the way of the game, and asks me if next time I can take her to the red light district. Wait, what? I head home and call my teacher maid to clean my room, but rather than clean, Miss Misato's lazy ass takes a nap on my bed, then asks me for $100 grand. Yes, mommy. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 2nd. Let's get going. During class, Kawakami gives me a slight nod as a thank you for letting her crash on my bed last night, allowing me to get some reading in. Hey, I really need my charm up. After class, I decide to finally free the Hihomie. There's a bigger, badder criminal in need of some jail time. While heading back to LeBlanc from the Velvet Room, I run into Yusuke, who accompanies me home to show me his new painting, and holy shit, that's cool. He says this is how he's chosen to represent the theme Desire, a swirling mass of unguided emotion. He plans to submit it to an upcoming art exhibit, and I fully support him. This shit could win him enough money to eat for at least 3 days. Yusuke leaves, and I figure it's high time I head to the gym. I should start eating right, and wait, what are the twins doing here? Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 3rd. Let's get going. I meet Ryuji at the fishing lake in Ichigaya, mostly to unlock it, but also because every RPG needs a good fishing minigame. We chit-chat about how shady we supposedly look, but a wild Kawakami appears to interrupt our mafia dealings. She teaches us that the best way to catch a fish is to turn your brain off and become one with the water. I drop Ryuji back off at his place, and run into a wild politician in need of a sign holder. Yoshida gives one of his speeches, this time to almost no one, and afterwards he asks me why I want to become a politician. Who said anything about that? I just want to learn how to convince the demons in the subway to join my cause. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 4th. Let's get going. In class, Ms. Chuno reveals that our exams begin on July 13th. Get your Q&A questions in the comments now, and you might be featured. After class, I realize that it's raining, and keeping with the trend of Persona 3 and 4, when it rains, no one's available. I decide to study at the diner, as that will let me boost my knowledge and guts, which I still need for the cool gun dealer. After eating and reading to make myself fatter and stronger, I run into Maluki Duki, who lures me to Inokashira Park with intel on a Mementos target. He tries to convince me that this random actor guy is our next target, with the logic that big actors are always doing something shady behind the scenes. I tell him if we had some proof, then maybe, but Shin Mineta gets mad at me for even implying that he's wrong. Dude, take a chill pill. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 5th. Let's get going. After class, I meet up with Ryuji to let the track team know what Yamauchi's been planning. He tells me he's gonna do all the talking, and I'm just here for backup. Backup for what? Takeishi and Nakaoka show up and tensions immediately rise, but Ryuji, sly as ever, plays a recording he took of Yamauchi's drunken ramblings. Takeishi, after hearing the true intentions of the new coach, admits to pushing Nakaoka out on purpose. He says his dad holds him to a high expectation, wanting him to go to college on a track scholarship just like him. And Ryuji delivers a powerful piece of life advice. Stop trying to live for someone else. You are the only person you need to prove yourself to. Ryuji says if it'll make them feel better, they can get their anger out on Damn! After leaving Ryuji to get his ass beat by the track team, I head home to play some video games. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 6th. Let's get going. I'm broke. To rectify this, I decide to head into Mementos to make some money off the shadows, especially now that I have access to insta-kill. I've also got a couple targets to knock down, with the first one being this middle manager who's abusing his power. I take care of him quickly, as my second target, the leader of a burglary ring, is the subject of the anime OVA.
様の心の拷問を。
I end the day by clearing another challenge battle for the twins. This one's cool. It's baton pass everything to Yusuke and Yuki. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 7th. Let's get going. In class, I help Anna out with a question about somen noodles, a traditional meal served during Tanabata, sometimes called demon guts. Yummy. In keeping with yesterday, I decided to build up some more moolah, this time working at 777 since it's 7-7. After knocking it out of the park, I head home to play some crosswords, then set my sights on our next confidant, this cute fortune teller. She tells me if I head home right away, there should be 5,000 yen waiting for me, but I should also be careful. She sees sudden death in my future. Not necessarily believing her, I grab my cat and head back to LeBlanc, only to discover that Sojiro won some lottery money, and Dad has finally given me my first allowance. Wait, if that part of the fortune came true. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 8th. Let's get going. After reading some on the train, I decide to get some crepes with the babes. While waiting in line for my chocolate banana-filled heaven, Anna gets a call from her work, and they tell her she was specifically requested by Mika, that bitchy coworker from last time. We head to the Skytree, where the photo shoot is happening, and after having my computer crash on me, I realize that An is oblivious to the fact that Mika doesn't like her. It gets to the point that while posing together, An gets shunned for not being sexy enough. An? Not sexy? Not on my watch. We meet back up in the underground mall, where An, now incensed and even angry that she's been shown up by Mika, resolves to adhere to a strict diet and exercise program to make her a better model. I'll believe it when I see it. After dropping An off at her station, I very suddenly remember I'm going to die. I hurry back to Shinjuku to purchase that holy stone Miss Chihaya mentioned yesterday. Content that I'm no longer facing impending doom, I head home, only to discover that the stone was just plain old rock salt. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 9th. Let's get going. On the way to school, I overhear some students talking about the morning news, and how it seems like our change of heart worked. We get confirmation after school at the not-so-hidden hideout, where Makoto tells us over the phone that Kaneshiro formally confessed, and that seemingly everyone knows it was the Phantom Thieves' doing. Ryuji immediately decides to celebrate, but Miss President reminds him that we have exams in 4 days. Jesus. There goes our party plans. In the evening, I get a text from both my boyfriend and my teacher maid, but they both have to wait. I have a score to settle with the hippie chick. I catch her trying to scam another poor soul out of 100,000 yen, and after eavesdropping on the poor girl who's being manipulated and abused by her boyfriend, I suggest another solution, one that won't bankrupt the poor girl. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 10th. Let's get going. I work at LeBlanc in the morning, helping Sojiro out by watching the store while he runs to go on a date or something, I don't know. While hanging around, Ryuji calls me to invite himself and the gang over for a study session, which I can't say no to. Hell, even Makoto and Yusuke show up, and rather than jump right into studying, I give my Joker lore dump yet again to the crew while Ryuji watches the news. On the news, Akechi casts doubt on if our methods can be trusted, as they seem pretty similar to the mental shutdowns. Thankfully, the gang is able to ignore this provocation, instead arguing over what our celebration party should be. We decide on a fireworks festival. Alright, better than going to another stupid buffet.
Alright, fireworks festival it is. Let's look for a good one.
Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 11th. Let's get going. After a lesson with Dr. Maruki and a sick dodge of the chalk, I run into Yoshizawa at Central Street. She asks me if I have any spare time to chit-chat with her, but before I can answer, another familiar face appears. My boyfriend, my Kohai, and I head to a nearby cafe to get some coffee and to hear the good news from Kasumi. She was chosen to represent her gymnastics club. Over our coffee, Akechi and Yoshizawa gush over how smart and interesting and thoughtful I am, and eventually the conversation turns to the Phantom Thieves. Interestingly, our red-headed friend here doesn't exactly agree with our methods. It seems she prefers Robbie Damon's way of thinking to Xander Mobus's. We split off after our rousing discussion, And on the way home, I remember hearing about a beautiful girl that plays shogi at the church in Wait, what are the twins doing here? Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 12th. Let's get going. After class, I figured today's our last chance to head on into Mementos before exams begin tomorrow. I've got a couple targets to hit, as well as a new area to explore. So I spend some time scooping up some cash before encountering our first target, that guy who's abusing Chihaya's scam victim. He drops like a sack of potatoes, and we continue on to the stalker girl Mokojoko told me about. I've actually seen her around the school before, peering around corners at her love interest. It's the thing Persona does well as a whole, having random NPCs that have a lot of personality. After taking her down and gathering enough cash to hold me over for a while, we leave, and I head home to get some last-minute studying in. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 13th, and exams start today. In keeping with tradition, our first question of our exam cycle comes from good friend of the channel, Photos by Jumbreel. With an amazing round of questions this time, the one I think I'll pick to answer today is this. He asks if I miss anything from base P5 compared to Royal. My first instinct is Takemi's old VA. I've mentioned this before, but Abby Trott's voice changes her whole vibe. Also, Wake Up Get Up Get Out There is, in my opinion, the superior opening theme, and I will admit I prefer Last Surprise to Takeover. This also might be controversial, but I think the vibe is different across the two games. It's hard to describe, but Base P5 feels a bit grittier, more tonally consistent. Maybe I'm just misremembering, but Royal definitely feels brighter and more cheery. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 14th. Let's get going. Our next question comes from a name I don't think I've seen before. Welcome, Jorge Fernandez Mayo, and thank you for asking which modern cast I prefer. On the whole, I think the investigation team is the easiest group for me to sit back and enjoy the shenanigans of. I think the P4 cast have the biggest, most pronounced personalities of all the casts, too. Everyone kind of has a hobby or something outside of just being on the team, like a job. In 3, everyone's just kind of there. And in 5, well, everyone's a thief first and themselves second. At least in my opinion. What do you guys think? Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 15th. Let's get going. Today's question comes from another good friend of the channel, the Daffinator. Daff asks if I have any favorite Persona content creators. And yeah, Daff, you're on that list. I want to take today to shout out Where's Wingo, whose content has recently reinvigorated me. I also watch a lot of Tony For You. I highly recommend if you're interested in the lore or the backstory of the demons of the series. Finally, if you like animated content, I watch basically everything Purple Thief puts out. It's not all Persona content, but it's still amazing. Fuka isn't real. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 16th. Let's get going. Thank you all to everyone who asked questions this time around. I actually had a few I wanted to get to, but exams in P5 are a little bit shorter than 3 and 4. After class, Dr. Maruki catches me in the hall and asks if I've got some spare time for an impromptu session, which, sure, I guess. He asks me a hypothetical that pretty obviously is about Yoshizawa. She's a special case, so she's been given some extra time on her exams, but this has caused her to receive some disdain from some of the other students. He thanks me for allowing him to vent to me. Crazy that I'm playing the therapist today. And I head to the not-so-hidden hideout. While there, we vent about how stressful exams were, and plan for our firework festivities on the 18th. I just hope the weather holds up. Before heading to bed, Ryuji calls me, saying that he wants to hang out tomorrow. Okay then. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 17th. Let's get going. I meet up with Ryuji and Yusuke at the festival grounds, and find that it is indeed a meat-filled occasion. Unfortunately, before we can enjoy our kebabs, we get accosted by some reporters. Ryuji, ever the quick thinker, decides to ham it up as much as possible to get him off our case. Thankfully, he's just cringy enough to scare him away.
That was truly cringeworthy.
On our way home, we pass by the new stadium that they're building, and run into none other than Yoshizawa. I tell the guys to go on ahead without me, as I can tell she needs someone to talk to. I take Kasumi to the diner in Shibuya, and we sit down to talk. She tells me that her gymnastics meet went horribly, admitting that her body and brain are almost disconnected on what to do. She says it might have something to do with not having her sister around anymore, and tells me that this past spring she died in an accident. She admits she might be throwing herself into gymnastics as a way to avoid the problem, and I tell her that she can still try her best, because at least I'm here to cheer her on. Damn, that worked. I always seem to know what to say. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 18th. Let's get going. Today's the day of the firework festival. While eating my breakfast curry, the group chat starts blowing up, and I guess the girls, and Yusuke, are going to be coming in yukata. Neat. I meet up with the guys at the station, and after watching our poor art boy get hopelessly flirted with, the girls show up, and we head to Central Street.
Yeah?
We all head home as soon as the rain dies down, and I stumble in on Sojiro arguing with that attractive prosecutor lady. Weird. Anyway, my guts are now high enough to begin EY's confidant. What a weird day. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 19th. Let's get going. Our exam scores were posted today. Thankfully, I did better than Ryuji this time around. Speaking of Ryuji, at lunch, he and I tracked down Shimmy Shimmy Ya Shimmy Ye, who gives us some info on a potential new target, the hacker organization Medjed. Apparently, they've targeted us, not the other way around, and Mirujiko figured it was a good idea to let us know. Okay then, dude. After class, I realized that my charm has increased to the point where I can finally go see the goth mommy again. We sit down in her office, and she tells me that this might be the last time we actually do, as her suppliers are being pressured to stop selling to her. This most likely comes from the medical chief Oyamada, and I not so subtly acquire his full name for memento shenanigans. After saying goodbye to Takemi, I run over to Kichijoji to get some coffee with my boyfriend. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 20th. Let's get going. During the break between classes, I check my phone that's been blowing up all day, only to discover that I've been receiving spam messages from someone called Alibaba. Whoever it is, they seemingly know everything about me. They specifically call out that I'm a phantom thief, and they know that I'm looking for info on Medjed. Alibaba offers a deal. If I do what they ask, they'll give me some info on Medjed. When I try to ask what they want, they disappear. I bring this news to the gang after school, and they suggest that we all head to LeBlanc to wait for the messages. We get there, and Sojiro hands me my mail for the day, and I open it to discover I've been sent a calling card. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 21st. Let's get going. After receiving that calling card yesterday, I'm on edge. So much so that I almost shoot out of my seat when Ryuji texts me during class, asking if I've been contacted by Alibaba yet. Jeez, man. He keeps on pestering me, and after enduring my phone going off 6 times in 30 seconds, I've had enough. Ryuji, dude, get off your phone, we're at school. Oh, it's Alibaba. They tell me that calling card wasn't meant for me. It was instead meant for a Futaba Sakura, and that in order for us to get info on Medjed, we're going to have to steal said Futaba's heart. Wait, who's Futaba? I relay all this at the not-so-hidden hideout, and by putting our collective 4 brain cells together, we realize that Sojiro's family name is also Sakura. Well, if it's the only lead we have.
Reals?
I head home and ask him about it, but he gets a little paranoid and heads out for a smoke. Nicotine does make you irritable. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 21st. Fuck me in my ass. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 22nd. Let's get going. After class, it's time for a good old-fashioned info gathering session. We're looking for more clues on who Futaba Sakura is, and while the rest of the gang are off enjoying their social lives, I do some digging around Yongen to discover that Boss buys a lot of groceries and gets a lot of Amazon packages. The only thing I can think of is that Futaba lives at home with him. I head back to LeBlanc to discover that, yet again, Sojiro is arguing with a woman. This time, though, I overhear something about cognitive science, but the bigger info drop is that Sojiro has a daughter. I hope it's an older, more mature daughter. One with broad shoulders, shoulder-length brown hair, and a penchant for justice. Welcome to Persona Every Day. Today's July 23rd. Let's get going. Today's the last day of the semester. You wouldn't know it though, on account of us Phantom Thieves being busy. We meet up at the not-so-hidden hideout so I can relay my findings from yesterday. And I repeat that lower lady's threats about how Sojiro will lose custody if he doesn't end his abuse. The gang can't reconcile that Sojiro could be an abuser, but before we can delve into that topic, I get a text from Alibaba. They're pissed that we're taking too long to steal Futaba's heart, but when we try to pry some more information out, Alibaba realizes that we might need to come in contact with Futaba to steal her heart, and calls the whole deal off. Dude, you basically confirmed that you're just Futaba herself. Anyway, the group decides that since the deal's off, we should put that proverbial gun up on the wall and celebrate school being out. We all decide to get some sushi tomorrow, despite my meager protest.
Nope.
Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 24th. Let's get going. The gang meets up at a fancy sushi restaurant in Ginza, and aside from a minor incident where Ryuji damn near exposes us being the Phantom Thieves, we have a blast. On the way home, we run into my boyfriend, who mentions offhandedly that Medjed have officially declared war on the thieves. I'll see you in my dreams. Now that we've been threatened by this nameless entity, it's time to take some drastic measures. Makoto explains what we realized yesterday. Alibaba is Futaba, and we all decide to sneak into Sojiro's house under the pretense of bringing him some leftover sushi. While poking around, someone flips the lights on us, and I get frozen in place by a petrified student council president.
Who the hell are you? Don't move! You hear me?
I'm so sorry, sis. Somebody please save me.
We all head to LeBlanc, where Sojiro comes clean and drops some Futaba lore. Her mother apparently killed herself, and Futaba believes she's the reason. Sojiro says he's done everything he can to make life easier for Futaba, but now I'm just mad that anyone would accuse him of being abusive. Best dad. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 25th. Let's get going. After our emergency assembly at school, we all meet back up at my room to discuss what our next move is. This next move is unanimously decided to be sneaking back into Sojiro's house and harassing Futaba through her bedroom door, in order to figure out her keywords to her palace. Rather than speak to us through the door, Futaba elects to text me, still under her Alibaba alias, and we discover that she views the house as a tomb.
You idiot! Don't activate it here! It's stuffy. Yes, I know. But it still beats opening the windows to the hot desert air. Hey, On, can I have a drink? Didn't you have mineral water? I drank it already. How are the guys? Take this! Morons.
Is that it?
There we go.
We make it to a large pyramid, and surprisingly, we aren't viewed as threats right now. Maybe because she invited us to steal her heart? At the top of the large staircase, we find Shadow Futaba, who starts freaking out, and summons a giant boulder to crush us, Indiana Jones style.
What now? Oh crap! Bad!
Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 26th. Let's get going. After the day we had yesterday, I think it's time to relax for a bit. By relax, I mean it's time to head to the gym with An and Ryuji. Last time we hung out with An, she made a big stink about starting a diet and getting to the gym to put more effort into herself, and she's sticking to that. An says she got snubbed from some magazines recently, probably due to Mika, and Ryuji says that the girl on the cover was really hot and he wants to meet her. This pisses An off, and after our extra intense workout, she thanks us for driving her to be better. After hanging out with my gal pal, I head to Kichijoji for a romantic date with Akechi. He takes me to a jazz club,
What will you
featuring live music, and even buys me a drink. Honestly, I joke a lot, but this genuinely feels like an actual date, complete with a real conversation about ourselves. I finally understand the ship, guys. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 27th. Let's get going. It's raining really heavy today, and keeping with tradition, when it rains it pours, and no one's available. This is a blessing in disguise though, as it gives me a chance to show off the fishing minigame. There's some differences between P5's and P4's fishing game, mostly the fact that in P5 you have to choose where to cast the rod. It's a pretty simple minigame, but hey, what RPG's complete without it?
Whoa!
After spending all day catching fish, I head home to do a crossword, then call my teacher maid over to make me dinner. Like the broke girl she is, we have cup noodle for dinner. Thanks, Kawakami. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 28th. Let's get going. Now that the rain is gone, it's time to spend some time with everyone's favorite redhead. Kasumi invites me out to lunch at school, even though it's the middle of summer vacation, and she even made me a bento. Unfortunately, keeping with the trend, every girl in Persona seems to suck at cooking, and Yoshizawa's no different. She tried to make something that appealed to everyone without using too much seasoning, and in the end, made everything taste like curry, something I eat daily. She apologizes, and after some convincing that it's fine, sits down and finishes her supersized meal. On the way back, I get a text from Makoto asking if I can come with to go see a Yakuza movie. Actually, like, legit. Like a Dragon, Kiryu and Majima have a movie in this game. Hey, wait, this song's from Persona 3.
Boss! No! That bastard shot him! Boss!
Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 29th. Let's get going. We all meet up in the new hideout. Rest in peace to the not-so-hidden hideout. Yusuke and Ryuji tell me they've come up with their own showtime. Hopefully we get to see that soon. We won't be seeing it today, however, and not for lack of trying. We head into the palace, only to discover that Futaba's locked the pyramid up, forcing us to leave and find another entrance. Before we can, though, Chilai tasks us with recovering something from the town on the outskirts. Why is she giving us missions? I don't know. What I do know is that we corner the thief and clear out an easy mini-boss to retrieve what ends up being a map to the palace. Thanks, Futaba. It's really nice that you...
God damn it!
After climbing out of the quicksand, we navigate to the way out, encountering another strong enemy along the way. I figure this is where I'll call it for the day, as this is one of the longer palaces. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 30th. Let's get going. I head over to Untouchable today, mostly to sell the spoils of our dungeon crawling, but also to finally learn about customizing guns. EY says to come back after dark if I want to talk about that stuff, so to kill some time, I head to the batting cages. Man, I really should play through Yakuza on the channel. I head back and get pulled into the back office, where EY enlists my help with his business in exchange for customizing our guns. I hope this doesn't come with a side of 10 years in the joint. Welcome to Persona Everyday. Today's July 31st. Let's get going. I wake up to a text from Kasumi, asking if I want to go shopping for some glasses in Kichijoji, and I tell her, of course, I need to finish her Confidant to unlock January after all. She tells me she's actually shopping for her dad, and wants to see a bunch of different styles to pick the right ones. After trying on some suspiciously reference-shaped glasses, Yoshizawa ends up picking the red frames, and admits that she was really anxious about picking glasses in general. I think you need to tell Dr. Maruki about that. After learning how to jump shadows with my grappling hook, I decide to spend my Sunday evening with the Sun Confidant. While giving another rousing speech, Yoshida's interrupted by a councilman that he used to hang out with. This councilman starts to rub me the wrong way. He brings up Yoshida's past and asks me flat out what about him interested me. His conviction, sir. Something you obviously don't have.